Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am your host, Zach, and today we are looking at just another little survival kit, kind of a day hike, throw it in your backpack type kit I built out in this Coleman waterproof bag. So let's take a look at it today on Airborne Outdoors. Okay, guys, so here we go with our usual camera setup because we're not all professional and upgraded yet. Because we're just past up 200 subscribers, and we are super thankful and appreciative and glad everybody is enjoying the channel, and we will upgrade that camera and that kit as soon as possible. So today this is it's a good size kit. Got it in this big old kind of like an A-lock sack, kind of a roll up waterproof bag. So just loaded it out with a fairly standard, kind of a minimalist, but some of the things are pretty decent kit. So let's just start digging some items out. I want to dig out this biggest item first, and that's the shelter option. Because I'm thinking this kit is more of a day hike out in the summer type kit where if you get lost, break your leg, whatever, and you got to stay overnight, that you're not in this winter condition that I'm in right now. So just your standard tube tent. String it up with your 550 cord, pop those corners out. Decent little option to get out of the rain and you know, not let the elements take you over. Just no particular order digging out this stuff, just your local map. I always talk about that. Have your map with you. You don't know when your phone's gonna go out and when you're gonna need that for sure. Along with that, have my compass in here somewhere. Let's see, which one did I go with this time? Went with the Sunto, pretty decent compass. Can't remember if this is like a 435 or which one this is. But this one is very quick to point north. Very nice, accurate compass. Got that sighting mirror, but also you can use it as a mirror to look at yourself, and a signal mirror, flash mirror. Go along with that compass to hopefully be able to navigate your way back to safety. Again, maybe it fell night on you, and you need to be able to read that compass. So we threw the, this is just a cheaper version of a Coast headlamp, but good enough to get you through just on like this particular scenario we're talking about. What other options of it we have in here? We have the, went with the Whirl Pack bags for the water storage. Assuming you're on a day hike, so you're gonna have your water bottle, your canteen with you or whatever, but this is gonna be that backup water. And then I threw the water purification tablets in here too. So where's the other bottle? Yeah, we got those two bottles in here. Just your germicidal and your neutralizer. So those will go great with those Whirl Packs, and then whatever other bottle you got on it. You know, this is like 3 or 4 Whirl Pack bags, so you can really just load that water up, drop those tablets in there. You're setting up your tent, and you got enough water for the whole night and the next morning, and filling up your bottles and stuff. Speaking of setting up that tent at night, you're lost, you haven't eaten in 4, 5, 6 hours now, and you're gonna have to stay over. I just threw a tiny bit of food in there, just something that's gonna last a long time and easily preservable, and just something that's going to be self-contained. Is just that can of sardines, and this is in extra virgin olive oil, lightly smoked. I've actually had these. I'm not a sardine fan at all, but these are definitely edible. Not a ton of calories, but definitely some healthy fats to get you through the night. Just a small piece of cloth, like I would say, first aid, cleaning, wiping up. Tons of uses of a bandana. This is a smaller one, but it'll get the job done. What else we got in here? Oh, I went with my little roll of duct tape with my little titanium whistle in there. I did find one more, so I did actually find 3 that I have of these, so kind of nice. This is a super loud whistle. Should I blow it for y'all? Oh my god, that is just ear piercing through my little room. It's a little late. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But we got that duct tape. Again, go with that bandana and some first aid options there. Something I don't always throw in these smaller kits because I always say, hey, just grab that whistle, who needs a needle? But I just threw my little sewing kit in there, and that's just a couple rolls of thread are in there, and then it's got like a plug on the tip here, and then you got some needles in there. Just God, it looks like about a damn near half a dozen of them in there. So decent supply of gear repair. Stitch up that jacket, that shirt and pants, whatever. Have that little option with you. Went with kind of a full service flashlight here, where it has the seatbelt cutter there, slicer. Not that you're going to be bringing this is not going to be in your car, but you can maybe use it to slice some things like that, or who knows, possibly have it on in your car too with that window breaker. Could be useful in a survival situation too, even as a little weapon and just as a hammer. And then a decent flashlight. Got a few options, strobe, and this is also, this is a rechargeable flashlight too. So if you got your bank with you, you got your C rechargeable right there. I don't have my power bank like right in this kit, but have it with me very often. Just threw in some standard, just your cheapy Hyper Tough 550 paracord, 50 feet. They call this 550 paracord, but this is actually pretty cheapy generic. It's probably only 100 or 150, something like that. Like working load cordage. What does it say? I think it says 110 here. So yeah, but it would definitely be more than enough to just set up that shelter and get yourself through the night. Let's look at our fire options, because again, this is one of them kits that you're gonna want to stay warm. So I went with just the Bic lighter, as always. Got to have the Bic. A few wet fire tinders, because like I showed in that first little bug out practice, those things really help to get some wet, some damp tinder going. And then I do have this. This is the older model of the Bear Grylls ferro rod. They have a very similar one out now, but it's a decent little kit too. It has I think it has an open. It has a I got some cotton tinder in there, and then it's a decent. Let's get my fingers right here. There we go. Decent little sparker. Let's try that again. There we go. There we go. A little more pressure down on that thing and it starts throwing fire out. And it's kind of cool. You got some signals and 6 signals, pause 1 minute, repeat, so like I was talking about in the other video, for like a survival signal, it's like beep, 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 then you wait, and beep, 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 then you wait. And that's kind of the signal for, we need help. And then on this side, you have the SOS, the little beep, 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 so you can remember that. In a stressful situation, you might know them things, but that kind of helps you out. Just threw in that little Columbia Rivers knife and tool. What is it? The Eaton tool. Just something to eat out those sardines with. I don't usually bring this because it's so short and it's useless when you have like dehydrated meals or something. But when you're just eating something small like this, then you got a few wrenches and screwdrivers on the end there, and just a cool little item to go along with that food. What should we get into? Let's get into this big ol'. You've probably seen a knife that looks very much like this before, but this is not that knife. This is just a cheapie. It's not made out of 1095 Crovan. I think it's like more like 420 stainless or something like that, where it's still a decent knife, but being very similar to ones that are super expensive. This one, to me, that fat chunk of steel, that full handle, just full 5-inch blade, full 10-inch knife. This is great. It's just razor sharp. Pull that out, and strap this to your belt right away, you know, when you get out there and you realize you're going to be using this stuff. This could definitely be a great option for, you know, one of these small kits. I don't always put in this large item, but sometimes I feel like, hey, if this is the most important thing, let's just beef this out. And so this is one of the options. Of course, I've got many other options. I'm not some knife freak that has thousands of them, but I do have a knife, a little collection to have some few options to have fun with these kind of kits. And then to go along with that, with the tools collection, just went with this smaller Leatherman that, you know, I have the Leatherman Surge and the Wingman and the Sidekick and some of the other larger ones, but this is just a kind of a bare bone stripped down one, the Leatherman Bolster. So from the outside, if you kind of know how these things are set up, you know, you got an outside tool on this side and sometimes on both sides, and then the same thing over here, sometimes on both sides. Where this one, you have none on this side and you have just one on this side, and it has the belt clip there. So you just have your backup knife. So, you know, you don't need a million things. You got a decent, nice and sharp backup blade in a small little kit. And then obviously it's a Leatherman, so you've got your really decent, high quality pliers. You know, as they say, the wire cutter, the pliers, and the needle nose. And then just like a lot of the Leatherman, on the one side, on the one side you have your screwdrivers, just your standard and your Phillips screwdriver. So just a basic set of tools, you know. You got your one blade, your pliers, and your couple screwdrivers. And then on the other side, you have just another small backup serrated blade there. And then a small file, which, you know, do some work, file your fingers, stay clean. You got a small ruler on the other side, got centimeters and inches, and then you've got just a small can opener here. And if you watch my last video, or was it the video before, there was one of these videos, I ate a can of corn. Maybe it was 2 or 3 videos where I went out and played in the snow. I actually opened it with something very similar to this. So and then also you have just that loop there too, in case you want to use it as a carrying handle of some type. And so let me see where we're at here. Okay, we got enough battery power to keep going. Last but not least, so we have the bag, which I did consider this could be a very large water bag as well. Assuming you know you got some pockets and you take all that stuff out and throw that stuff in your backpack or whatever. But pretty huge, but definitely an option. Definitely keep all your stuff dry though. You know, a great bag to just make sure all this stuff is bone dry in there. And so last but not least though, just a small first aid kit setup. You know, we're out in the woods. We're not expecting to be drastically wounded or anything, but just I built this small little first aid kit out, and then I said, well, this don't really have anything bigger than a couple band-aids and stuff, so let's just throw in more like a full size, like a compressed dressing, first aid sterilized personal wound dressing. So it's not exactly like an Israeli bandage or anything, but it's just a big clean piece of gauze that can wrap around a wound, and you can use that bandana to really lock a cut down, you know, or whatever. But probably, and more realistically, just this little kit, you know, like if I look of all the times I've administered first aid on myself, and thank God there's never been anything bad, you know, but I'm 53 years old and I've played outside and been in the military and jumped out of airplanes and hiked and climbed and did all these things, and I've never had more than just very minor wounds. So something like this really is all I've needed. I throw that dude wipe in there because, hey, when you need a dude wipe, you need one. So we'll save that. So here's the biggest piece of cloth I have in here, just a 2-inch gauze pad. And then 2 of my favorite little cheapy Equate Walmart bandages that, you know, they're them cloth ones that are just great. And then with the 2 alcohol swabs, the 2 the antiseptic towelettes, and then we just have some options here. We got triple antibiotic ointment, We got some hydrocortisone cream. I kind of like this idea. You know, you're out hiking and you get that itchweed on you, or you get something itching, rashy. You know, this can save you some severe irritation for sure. And along with that is that afterbite too. You know, you get a bad bee sting or mosquito bites, or, you know, black fly bites, and wipe it down with that, and it's going to feel a lot better. And then just a couple medication options with some aspirin and some non-aspirin, which is just like your acetaminophen, Tylenol type stuff. So just a couple pills of each, get you through the night, get you back home. So that's the whole kit, guys. Please let me know what you think. Hope you'd enjoyed it. Like I said, we just went by 200 subscribers. Just the first couple months of the channel getting going, you know, hoping to really kick it off. Hoping you will support your airborne buddy in all his outdoor adventures. Kind of loving these kit building. These options are just so fun to look over and get ideas of what you might need, what you might use. And then, like I said, when I build my kits and just go out and play with them too, and see what I can do in the woods is tons of fun as well. So, you know, like I say, guys, thank you so much for your support. I hope you would consider to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Most of all, just thank you for being here. Thank you for checking out my videos. There will be many, many more to come. More outdoor videos, more kit builds. We'll get back into our little priorities of survival kit and get down by the river and play some more. We'll get into that bug out bag some more. We got my saw in the bedroll now, so I found a way to get that big saw in there. And so there's a lot of exciting stuff coming. A lot more videos, a lot more ideas. And you know, I listen to you guys, and I really appreciate your advice. You know, hey, throw a tourniquet in there. Hey, add this, you know, add a bigger knife. Like, look at how big the knife is in this little kit. Nobody's going to be saying that this time. So it's just fun to see what you got to limit it. You know, you're not building a bug out bag. You're building a little day hike kit. So you got to decide what you'd want. And so for this kit, this is what we got, guys. Thank you again so much, and I will see you in the next video on Airborne Outdoors.